Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Welcome back for another video. Today we have an article from Kitco News titled Silver's Price Target During the Next Bull Market. This was written by Chris Vermeulen on Friday, July 26th, so it's fresh off the press. And if you guys want to check it out, the link will be in the description if you want to follow along or check it out after the video. Also, before we jump in, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you already haven't. I post daily videos if you want to just, expand your knowledge or just, information on the precious metals world. But anyways, let's jump into this article. I think it's really interesting because he looks at different outliers that could potentially influence silver's price, and also definitely I think it's important to read and just understand other people's opinions and perspectives to try to gain as much knowledge as possible and as much insight. So anyways, let's jump into the article. So he starts off by saying it is time to explore the details of our gold versus silver ratio research and to start to understand the potential for profits within the move in precious metals. The first part of the research is the article highlighted the gold versus silver ratio and why we believe the reversion process that is taking place in our price could be an incredible opportunity for traders. So historically, when the gold versus silver ratio reaches an extreme level and precious metals begin to rally, a reversion within the ratio takes place, which represents a revaluation process for silver prices compared to gold prices. This typically means that the prices of silver will accelerate to the upside as the price of gold moves higher, resulting in a decrease in the ratio levels. So to break that down for you, what he's saying is the gold to silver ratio is, let's say it's 90 to 1. That means it takes 90 ounces of silver to equal or equate to 1 ounce of gold, and that's a really high ratio. So for the ratio to go back down to around 70 to 1 for a more natural price, a more balanced price, that means that silver is going to have to appreciate higher, and gold will either have to stay around that price it is or actually depreciate for the ratios to go back to normal, balances. And that's a really good indicator looking at the gold to silver ratio to see what silver is going to do, because we finally saw gold break past $1,400 as we see up here. It had a lot of resistance around $1,400, so that's indicating that silver is going to have to make some type of move, especially since silver is gold's little brother. But anyways, let's go on to, he goes on to say, for every drop of 5 points in the gold to silver ratio, the price of silver should increase by 6.5% to 7.5% to the price of gold. This research is based off of our belief that gold and silver will continue to rally and potentially enter a parabolic upside price advance soon. If this takes place and precious metals begin to skyrocket higher, the ratio level will react in a hyperactive reversion process where silver may move higher at a rate that is substantially faster than gold. This is the process that we are exploring, and our researchers are attempting to shed some insight into this event. And I definitely always mention how the gold to silver ratio is very beneficial and how it's one of the best indicators to look at silver's price in the future, because there is also X factors, like there's things that we can't even possibly fathom, like there's environmental factors, economic, political factors that we don't even know that are going to be happening in the future. Especially we have the 2020 presidential election coming up next year, and there's certain things that we just don't know that are going to happen that is going to heavily influence silver and gold's price. So there's also that you have to take in consideration as well. But anyways, here's just a chart. You guys can check this out. It's just it's a gold to silver ratio chart, just looking at some of the stuff over the next 6 months. So it's a weekly ratio chart if you guys want to check that out. Some interesting stuff right here. It's just showing like when gold's $650, silver's $18.73. Different ratios is $20.12. So and that's interesting because it shows like when the ratio is 88 to 1, gold was okay, so yeah, you can see ratios 88 to 1, 82, etc., etc. So right here, this is what we want to see. Historically, the ratio is around 40 to 1, and that's over time. Usually, it's actually more around 60 to 1. So if you see this is when silver's $25, $26. But for that to happen, gold would have to be $1,750 if you're trying to see $26 silver again. So that's a kind of interesting ratio to look at, and it's just an interesting chart to look at the realistic numbers, because like you see down here, if silver's to be $22, gold would have to be 1900, and that's just a really, and that's at the ratio's 88 to 1, so that's unrealistic. I don't think gold would jump that high without silver climbing a little bit higher. But it's a really interesting chart. I love this chart. It's really educational to look at the reality or the realistic possibilities of what could happen. So the article goes on to say, if the price of gold were to stay at the same $1,426 level while silver rallied to probably an 82 or 77 ratio level, which is lowering actually, not rising, the price of silver would move from the current price of $16.19 to $17 or $18.52 in order to reflect this decreased ratio level, which I just mentioned. That represents a 7.5 to 14.3 price increase. Yet, if the price of gold advances to $1,650 or $1,750, while the ratio drops to the 82 or 77 ratio level because silver advances faster than gold, then the price of silver would move from the current price to $16 to $20 to $22.73. That move represents a 24.2% or 40.3% price increase in silver when gold increased only 15 to 22%, showing just how much more potential silver has than gold on a realistic scale. Silver is the much more undervalued metal. We always talk about this. I think it's blatantly obvious nowadays to see that gold is definitely the one that is at a more natural price than silver. I think if gold is going to be around $1,500, then silver has to at least be around $150 to $200. If you're looking at realistic levels, it comes out the ground roughly 9 to 1. A lot of gold is getting remelted. A lot of silver doesn't get remelted at the rate gold does because it's not as profitable to scrap it out of laptops. And also, silver's used a lot in technology where it's just lost. People usually remelt their wedding bands or, gold necklaces, stuff like that, earrings. But silver doesn't really get remelted like that because it's not as profitable. People don't go through their jewelry drawers looking for silver. They're looking for the gold to remelt. Especially when you're looking for a quick cash grab at a pawn shop or whatever. So it's just interesting to see that. We believe the next upside price leg in silver will target $19.50 to $22.75. This target range supports the highlighted area on our ratio table. In other words, we believe the ratio level will attempt to quickly move towards 70 to 77 level as the gold prices rally over the next few months. This would push silver up into the $22.50 to $25 price level very quickly. And you can see this chart here looking at the upsides of it. If our expectations come true about both gold and silver rally and a parabolic price rally, we would believe silver could eventually target $26 to $29 as a primary price target. This move would equate to a rebalancing of value for precious metals as it rallies extensively. So it's really interesting just to see how this is a very bullish market. Now, don't get me wrong, like, this would be incredible if this happened. You can see down here the date. This is pushing into 2020, and there also is other factors too, like the 2020 presidential election. A lot of stuff is going to be happening in this time frame that's also going to be very influential on silver's price. So it's not just always about reading market charts and analyzing, similar ratios between gold and silver and what miners are doing, and not even going as far as saying, what the current dollar's strength is in our economy, or how strong the economy is. Is it in a panic-like state? What the political aspect of it. There's several different factors that play into it. The silver shortage, how much gold is actually bringing media into the spotlight and driving new precious metal investors into the world of investing. So that's also interesting. So there really is so many different factors. There's too much to really try to make all you can really do is make educated guesses. You can't really say for sure. They're all assumptions, but you can look at the data and go off of that, looking at charts. Just try to make the best realistic guess, but it really is all speculative. Don't take this stuff too seriously. It's all theoretical, but you can look at the history, and that's the best way to predict something for the future is go back and look at the historical data of it, and that's what these charts do. So that's really what it's basing it off of, is the historical data. So I'm not going to read all of this. It goes on to say, what if gold rallies faster than silver? What would happen? Imagine where silver could go if the ratio level fell to levels below 40, talking about the historical levels where the ratio is 40 to 1. Silver price range as gold and silver ratio moves to the average. So concluding thoughts, it's really interesting. I think it's a really well written article. I think this guy really took his time in it. I love how he brings, especially this chart right here. I think this chart is absolutely incredible. I love this thing. I think that's one of the best indicators to look at, the realistic aspect of it, if you want to see gold's price compared to silver's price and what would have to happen for these ratios to reach 82 to 1 or 77 to 1 or 72. I think it's really cool and interesting to see that's what silver would have to be without having to do all the math. He did all the math for us. So I think that's a really interesting and educational piece to look at. But anyways, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you already haven't. I post tons of videos like this. I already posted a video earlier today, so if you want to go check that out, make sure to go head over to my channel and like that video and tune in as well. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.